A martyr is a person who is killed or who suffers greatly for the faith or a cause. In Christianity, Stephen was the first martyr. Let's get to know him, how he lived his life, and eventually how he died. Stephen was chosen as one of the 7 deacons to serve the church, a man full of the Spirit and of wisdom. He did miraculous signs and wonders among the people and had a face like of an angel. But there were oppositions that arose against him. They argued with him and could not win against him because of his wisdom or the Spirit by whom he spoke. What his enemies did was make false accusations against him. And when he stood before the council of religious leaders, he did not cower in fear, but he made it into a platform to preach with boldness and wisdom. He even rebuked them for being stiff-necked and always resisting the Holy Spirit, which made the religious leaders very furious. And when he looked up to heaven, he saw the glory of God and Jesus standing at the right hand of God. And when he declared it to them, he was dragged out, and they began to stone him. But even in the brink of death, his heart is like that of Jesus, compassionate, even for the people killing him. He even prayed to God not to hold it against them, just like Jesus did. Here in the Philippines, it is not common to be killed for the faith because of the freedom of religion. Persecutions here are so minimal compared to our brothers and sisters living in restricted countries. Once they started believing in Jesus, they know that it could cost them their life. Most of us will not be martyred, but each believer should understand that in our faith, there will also be sufferings. But we should see it not as a punishment from God, but an opportunity to know more Christ and to glorify Him. I like how the apostles reacted after they have been flogged in Acts chapter 5. In verses 40 to 42, it says, "The apostles left the Sanhedrin rejoicing because they had been counted worthy of suffering disgrace for the name. Day after day, in the temple courts and from house to house, they never stopped teaching and proclaiming the good news that Jesus is Christ." Lastly, before thinking about dying for Christ, one should focus more on living with Him and for Him. In the book of Philippians, Apostle Paul mentioned that his desire is Christ will be exalted in his body, whether by life or death. And he further say, "For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." A life fully surrendered to God wouldn't mind to suffer and even to die for Christ. The question is, are we living a surrendered life?